We are back for our second game of this Sunday night playoffs as we have game 4 between the Philadelphia 76ers, who lead this series 2-1, and the Boston Celtics. The 76ers had a chance for a sweep, but they could not do it in game 3 as the Celtics defense really stood out. Big game, what's it going to take once again for Boston to go 2-0 on the road after the 76ers did it to them?
Well, I think you're going to need a huge game out of Kemba Walker, who has struggled this series. Obviously, had a better game 3, which allowed them to win. Ben Simmons has really destroyed him so far in the series. Jaylen Brown was a leader in game 3 for the Celtics scoring-wise. Obviously, he's a typical regular star you'd call on Boston, but he's one of their go-to options. You'd like to see Gordon Hayward and Jason Tatum both step up, have big games to try and lead them to a game 5 back in Boston. If you're Philly, obviously Ben Simmons had a huge game 3. He's had a huge series so far. Joel Embiid was pretty non-existent there in game 3. I think you'll see a better Joel Embiid tonight, and I think you'll see a very close game as the 76ers try to close this one out in 4 here at home in Philly.
And Kemba Walker, he was having a rough game as he only had one make going into 2 minutes left in that fourth quarter. And he hit a tough three in the corner and then had a floater to give the Celtics a 3-point lead as well. And he clinched it out for them when it mattered, but he can't have another one of these poor shooting performances under 40%. And Ben Simmons has been abusing him down low, whether it's a spin move, a dunk in the fast break, and he's even pulled out a hook shot or a fadeaway mid-range every once in a while. That matchup has been the key all series, and we'll see if that continues tonight. And we're off. The 76ers start with the ball. And we're going to be watching the crowd here, as I wouldn't want to be a 76ers player tonight being up 2-0. And if you lose this game, you're going to hear boos louder than anything going back to Boston after having that 2-0 lead. It's going to be a rough time if they can't win this game. Oh, it's going to go, no, Tobias Harris going to start with a fadeaway, can't make it. Jason Tatum trying to attack Joel Embiid. He can't.
Here
Now it's
comes Hayward driving. No good.
And game 3 was a battle of the defenses, and we'll see if that's how it's going to be today as well.
Simmons turnaround fadeaway, no good.
And that is not a good shot to start this game for Simmons. You'd like to see him attack the lane, a floater, a spin move, or a hook shot. And if he's going to take a fadeaway, it can't be the 16 to 20 foot fadeaways. It needs to be more in the range of the 8 to 12 range. Jaylen Brown, wide open mid-range.
Well, I couldn't
he
agree
hits.
more there.
And game 1 and two's game plan was right there. Attack with Simmons or have Joel Embiid dominate in the paint against Daniel Tice. And if they have that game plan succeed, then they only need one or two X factors, whether it's out of the starting lineup in Tobias Harris, Al Horford, or Josh Richardson. They did not show up in game 3. If they can get them tonight, I think the 76ers do end up winning this one. Oh, Embiid
Jaylen
gets
Brown
his first
gets
foul.
fouled on the way up.
Big game, we've seen Jaylen Brown be aggressive so far, shooting a mid-range and now attacks the lane. Do you think Brad Stevens gave him the green light after his big game 3 performance?
You'd have to think so. Obviously, he took the majority of the shots there in game 3 and led the team in scoring. As Al Horford with a nice jump stop there, able to score and get him on the board. So you'd think that that's the reason why Jaylen Brown so far has been the offense for Boston.
Tatum in a post-up gives it right back to Brown, though. He's going to attack again, but Embiid blocks him. And Josh Richardson almost makes it on the fast break, but he will be fouled. Josh Richardson can't make the second, but he makes the first. Oh, and Gordon Hayward misses a wide open layup. Tough miss.
And now Embiid down low, and Tice with some good defense, but Embiid able to score over him. Philly up 3 now.
And an early deficit for the Celtics would not be a good start to this game, as they can't allow any momentum out of the 76ers. Kemba Walker for three, can't hit. He
No
misses his
good.
first shot.
You saw Kemba Walker wide open down low before. Was able to beat Simmons there on a back cut, but they could not get the ball to him. As Simmons drives again, Simmons cannot finish. Great defense there by Jaylen Brown. Up
There's
ahead,
Kemba
Kemba
Walker,
Walker
though, and
again
he'll
for
make
three,
it.
and that one's good. And that one's good. And this game is tied at 7. Kemba now with some good looks from 3. He's gotten open so far here in this game 4. We'll see
Oh,
that
big
continues. And
mistake there by Ben Simmons.
let's see, a very high pick and roll there between Simmons and Tobias Harris, and obviously Tobias Harris at about almost the logo, and Simmons lost track of where he's at, takes a step behind the line. That's a turnover on Simmons.
Tatum takes a step back on Al Horford, can't hit. Tobias Harris goes
Oh, here comes
in, he
Tobias
finishes.
Harris.
Good
Got it.
finish. That's going to be a timeout by Boston. What do you think Brad Stevens is talking about here, big game?
Well, you might see some subs here put in for Boston. Obviously, he's letting them know some porous defense has kind of played a couple possessions. But I think you've seen Jaylen Brown and Kemba Walker kind of take shots that have been very open on offense. And I think he might try to drop a play here for maybe Kemba Walker to get open again. Obviously, you do see the subs did come in as and Kemba. Oh, that's Ben Wanamaker. Ben Wanamaker fouled there by Alec Burks, and he's going to the line. So you see a full rotation change here for Boston, other than Jaylen Brown. It seems like.
And I think that's the right move. Jaylen Brown's been the offense so far, and he was the offense in game 3. He's giving all of his trust to him right now. And Brett Brown's going to do the same thing with Joel Embiid as he takes a hook shot and makes it. He's the only starter out there with the bench. Ooh,
Oh, and
Wanamaker,
Wanamaker
tough
again.
finish.
Remember, Ben Wanamaker did have a very good game 1. And obviously he's come out here and he's had a great quick minute here so far in game 4 as well for Boston off the bench.
Off the bench, Alec Burks, but he
And
gets swatted on his first shot.
by Enes Kanter that time, Enes Kanter, not known as a great defender, picks up a block there.
And they're going to go right to him after that block. Smart driving in on Mike Scott. He's going to miss the layup. Off the screen, Joel Embiid does not take the shot. He's looking for someone in the corner. Thibault forced to take a tough shot, can't finish. Over Marcus Smart.
And Boston gets the rebound with about 15 seconds left now here. We'll see if they dribble out the clock and take the last shot here in the first quarter. Chance to take the lead here for Boston, not at up 11. Now 7 seconds to shoot.
Oh, and Joel Embiid goes for
Oh,
the steal
Cantor.
and swats him anyway.
And it looks like it gets blocked there. 3-quarter heave, no good. And we are tied up at 11 here at the end of the first quarter here in game 4 in Philly.
We're back in the second quarter in Philadelphia as the game so far has been tied at 11. And we saw our first game 5 in our first game of the night, big game. How what do you think the chances are we see a game 5 here in this one?
Oh, with how Boston has played in this first quarter, I think you'd have to throw it up at 50-50 so far. Um, as Jaylen Brown open three, knocks it down. Jaylen Brown again continuing to score here. He's carrying over that workload from game three, bringing it into game four here. He likes to shoot the ball here in Philly, obviously. He's put the ball in the bucket here early for Boston.
And these are two pretty equally matched teams, and Alec Burks misses, but Joel Embiid is there. Does he go up? He does and gets fouled. These are two pretty equally matched teams, but we saw the Brooklyn Nets actually awaiting their opponent in this one as they will play the winner of this series. And how do you think both of these teams are thinking about playing the Brooklyn Nets, or do you think they're focused right now on finishing this series?
Well, obviously, I'd say you'd have to think that both teams are focused on this series as this series is not over yet. But how they match up is Wanamaker pulls up and tries to shoot three. They're no good. How the matchup would work against these two teams, obviously, Brooklyn with Kyrie healthy, and the guards of Dinwiddie and LeVert off the bench, along with the two big men, Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan. I think they'd match up better with Boston, in my opinion. Boston would obviously have to win this game and obviously win game five back at home to play Brooklyn. And if they end up playing Philly, I think the point guard matchup will be phenomenal between Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, and obviously I think for the bigs of Brooklyn, DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen matchup with and as Cantor puts down a one-hand jam there, they match up with Joel Embiid. How who guards who? How does it work out? What changes do you have to make after that series starts? It'll be interesting to see how that series folds
Wow,
out if
what a
that series
finish
ends up
by
having.
Embiid. That's a great point there, big game. As with Al Horford and Embiid, it's going to be a tougher matchup for the Nets as their key players in their starting lineup was Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan that series, and that's going to be almost evened out, if not on the advantage of the 76ers with Joel Embiid. We come out of the timeout with about 4:20 left as the 76ers hold a 1-point lead in this close game 4.
Oh, an open Kemba Walker, tough three there, no good.
Gordon Hayward
Gordon
wide
Hayward
open
open
for
three,
three. Wow, and they're
got
hitting
it.
threes
And
early.
and and so far, like you said, hitting threes early, but going off of that, it's been on the play setup so far by Brad Stevens. A lot of these threes coming off screens, off the ball, wide open threes so far. But taking Kemba Walker's hit one, Jaylen Brown's hit one, and now you see Gordon Hayward hit one as Simmons finishes down low.
Right now, Simmons and Embiid have really held together the 76ers early in this game. Well, it's been more of an even effort out of the Celtics.
Oh, Horford blocked by Williams. Robert Williams off the bench. And here comes
And we
Boston trying to take the
just had one of
lead.
our viewers point out Joel Embiid has not come out of this game yet, big game. What do you have to say about this?
Well, obviously, the Sixers trying to win this here in four and not send it back to Boston. Embiid playing the whole game so far. We'll see how long of a break he gets, possibly at the end of this quarter, maybe going out of halftime.
Yeah, you'd think Brett Brown's going to take him out soon because he'll want him to start off the second half against Boston's starting lineup. Can't hit there. Al Horford gets it taken out of his hands. Here comes Tatum off the pick and roll with Robert Williams. He gets around one, but Embiid is there. Good defense, but Tatum gets the rebound. Can't finish again. And the rebound goes to Shake Milton. Marcus Smart wide
Oh,
open.
Marcus Smart down low. Got it. Lays it in.
Ben Simmons up top, wide open. We'll see what play they have set up. A pick and roll with Simmons and Embiid. Oh, and Simmons
Oh, and
reverse jam, but
Simmons.
he gets
Oh, it's blocked. And
blocked.
how about that? Williams again with a block. How about this? We're seeing out of Williams. Williams out the block on Al Horford and Embiid. Oh, Marcus Smart open three. Can't cash it in.
Oh, Tobias Harris. Oh, he almost took the pull-up three, but he'll hold off. Simmons wants again the left side attack, but he's going to give it up to Joel Embiid, it looks like. He does. Embiid with the mismatch with Hayward on him. Takes a hook, can't finish. Good
And
defense out of
finish.
Hayward. And it goes into the corner into Grant Williams. Game pretty crowded in the corner. Daniel Tice attacks Al Horford. Wow, and he gets a
Oh,
foul
he's
out of
fouled
it.
Horford. And you know what? I agree with that call. It looked like Horford maybe got him with the body before he was able to block that shot.
And Tice
And
misses the
Tice can't
second.
make the second.
Here comes
And here comes
Thibault,
Thibault.
and
Thibault
one.
and one.
Tough finish.
And he'll
Wow.
be able to, wow,
He
he'll be
could
able to
tie up this
possibly
ball
tie
game.
this game.
And he does. And big game. This is the exact same pace we're on from game 3. Very close defensive game. Really no big runs. But it's just going to stay that way all the way to the second half.
Well, this is what we figured to see in games 1 and 2 as well, but obviously that did not happen as Boston shot poorly. Philly, Embiid, and Simmons really played like elite players. And in the last 2 games, you've seen Philly kind of come back down to earth. You've seen Boston pick up from the dead. And they won last game, and we'll see as Thibault gets fouled here again down low, that time on Brown, and he's going to the line. You see them keep it close here in this game 4. We'll see if they can maybe have a stretch run in the third or fourth quarter to pull away and try to send this to game 5.
And Thibault misses 1 of 2 free throws there, and the Boston Celtics will get the last shot of the half. 3 seconds. Jaylen Brown takes a tough mid-range. Wait. We're going to official review here as off the rebound, Grant Williams got a tip-off. We're going to wait just for halftime as we have to go to review. Big game, what do you think about this? Good or no
Well, in my
good?
opinion, in my eyes, that looked good. We'll see what the call on the floor is. Grant Williams, a nice tip there.
Oh, wait a second. It's been overturned. You are right. Wow.
And it's good. And Boston will be up 3 here at halftime, 26-23 in Philly in game 4. Brett Barn not happy with that review and call. We'll see how this turns out coming out of half.
We're going to head over to our halftime show as we go over the box score for each team. And so far, this game has been an equal performance by Boston, other than Jaylen Brown's been the standout, though. Joel Embiid, 8 points, 7 rebounds. But both teams shooting under 40%. It's been a common trend in this series as the Celtics lead with a slight lead after that tip-in at the end of the half, 26-23. Big game, anything else stands out for you in this game?
Having 8 and 7, he's kind of showed up here in this game 4. But really, Jaylen Brown just stands out to me because, you know, he's not their main vocal point on offense, but he has been here in this game 4, and he was in game 3, and he's been stepping up and making shots.
All right, and we're going to head over to our third quarter as we get the second half started. Thank you, Big Game. We are back in Philadelphia as the Boston Celtics lead this one over the Philadelphia 76ers 26-23. It's been a close game so far between the two great defenses on these two teams, but we'll see what we have in store for us for a big second half.
Um,
And big game as we usually go over to start second half. What are the keys for each team to try and win this series for the 76ers or extend it if you're the Celtics?
Well, if you're Boston, you got to hope for Jaylen Brown, some more production of Jaylen Brown, and hopefully you get Kemba Walker and Gordon Hayward to step up along with Jason Tatum, who's been very quiet here in this game four. And if you're the 76ers, you're hoping the same thing can be said for Ben Simmons.
Here comes a post up by Tice, but he passes it out. Kemba Walker attacking Simmons. Hop step.
A
He gets
beautiful move, and he's
fouled.
fouled. A nice move there by Kemba Walker to get fouled on that play.
And Kemba Walker misses the second free throw and it only becomes a 4-point lead for the Celtics. Simmons immediately attacking Kemba Walker, but he slows him down. Stolen
And
by
Tice with the
Daniel
steal.
Tice. Tatum pull a mid-range. He hits it. It's a 6-point lead. And Josh Richardson misses, and Embiid can't get the offensive board. Big game. We're starting to see a Celtics run here. And it's an and one.
And another foul and one. Gordon Hayward finishes. And like I said before halftime, the Celtics going on a run here. Let's see if they can hold on to it.
9-point lead. Wow. And Philly fans are not happy. They're actually having Joel Embiid dribble up the ball here. And after playing most of this ball game, he must be very tired. Oh, Simmons reverse jam. Oh my. That might just unleash the crowd now. We'll see if the Celtics have an answer.
Here comes Kemba.
They do
Kemba
not.
can't get to go. A good look there from Kemba Walker, though.
And Jaylen Brown on Ben Simmons right now. He can't get past. Good defense by Brown. And there's Kemba Walker as he scores. 9-point lead still for the Celtics. Tobias Harris in the post on Hayward. Takes a fadeaway. No good.
Can't get to go.
Oh, and it's
And
a
Hayward
foul.
again is fouled. Richardson. And
And
really,
he hits
in my
both free
opinion,
throws.
this is the first time in this series we've really seen Boston go on a run in this series. I don't know what you'd have to say, Big Jake, but obviously in games 1 and 2 they did not go on any run as they were down big. And in game 3 they just really were close throughout the whole game as Tobias Harris knocked down 3 there.
Yeah, really the longest run we saw the Celtics go on, if you remember in game 1, they went up 9 at halftime. And that was at to end the first half, but after that they fell apart, and that's truly the only run in the series besides a few 5, maybe 6-point runs, such as in Game 3 by Kemba Walker when he hit that 3 and the floater. But you're right about that, Big Game. We'll see Jaylen Brown shoot 2 free throws here. This lead could extend to double digits.
You've seen Philly pick up a lot of fouls here as Boston already in bonus here in this third quarter. One of the first times we've seen here in this first round of playoffs that we've seen a team getting bonus before the 2-minute mark, obviously in the quarters. And most of the fouls as well for Boston this quarter have been shooting fouls. I believe they all have been actually, and they went
I
to the
think you're right.
line a ton this quarter. And a mystery from Tobias Harris there. And if I'm Boston, you got to keep being aggressive here trying to draw fouls.
And the key's been every time they've gotten a rebound, they've had a great outlet pass out to the fast break, and they're attacking the basket. They don't care who's there, and they're gonna just try and get fouled, or they're gonna go for a finish. Oh, and S. Cantor swats it off the
And his Cantor
backboard.
with a huge
Wow.
block and no good from Tobias Harris on a little runner.
And his Cantor passes over Jalen Brown, wide open three, can't hit. Oh, Tobias Harris misses, but he'll go to the line for 2 free throws. We're going to see a post up. Ennis Cantor has a smaller. Oh, Tobias Harris comes over
Oh,
and
and he's
fouls
fouled
again. Oh, it's
again.
actually by Mike
Another,
Scott.
and that one's on Mike Scott. Another foul here for the 76ers in this third quarter.
And Ennis Cantor, it's both. This remains a 10-point lead. And Brett Brown has Tobias Harris out here with the rest of the bench. Big game. What do you want to see on offense out of this group?
Um, you'd like to see Korkmans. They maybe set some screens for Korkmans. You've seen Tobias Harris take some difficult shots the last couple times he's down. You'd like to see him maybe set some screens for Korkmans. Obviously, he's giving Simmons and Embiid a rest right now. And if you're Boston, keep running what you've been doing, being aggressive. You got him in bonus, so we'll see.
Wow, Brown continues to go off for the Celtics. This 76ers defense has disappeared in the third quarter as Brad Stevens' game plan has completely changed in the third quarter, being aggressive, and it's worked well for the Celtics.
And gets it to Cork Marzello back out to Alec Burks for three. As you see, Tobias Harris very questionable again.
Alec Burks has
Oh,
to
and
take a
Burks
tough shot.
pump fakes
Can't
there. A
hit.
third pump fake on a three, no good. And Philly's offense here in this third quarter pretty non-existent. If you're Boston, it's
And
Kemba
Wanamaker
Walker
scores
or Ben
again.
Wanamaker finishes down low. 15-point lead now for the Celtics.
Oh,
Oh,
Tobias
nice move
Harris
there
ends
by
the
Tobias
run and
Harris.
makes a hook shot.
Lefty hook right there.
The Celtics are going to have a rare possession without fast break. Wanamaker attacks, and he finishes, switches hands.
How about
Wow.
this? Ben Wanamaker really showing up here in game four. Some big buckets off the bench in the first and third quarters now for the Celtics.
And besides him, putting Jalen Brown out there with the bench in both at the end of the first quarter and right now, I think that's a great move by Brad Stevens as he can rely on the rest of his starting lineup. And Jalen Brown misses that deep three to end the quarter, but this was a 3-point game at halftime, and now it's a 15-point lead for the Celtics, looking to extend this to a game 5. And big game, if you're Brett Brown, you're about to possibly head back to Boston if you lose this game. You lose both games at home, up 2-0. What are you trying to change in this fourth quarter right now?
Well, as you see, Tobias Harris missed there. I'm looking to get a Ben Simmons driving on Kemba Walker, whoever is on him. I'm looking to get Joel Embiid and post ups down low. I'm looking to get my superstars involved, as both of them have really not been. Obviously, Embiid played most of the first half as Tatum misses there, but to me, if you're Brett Brown, you're looking at it this way: the best player for the Celtics and Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker have not really shown up here in the series so far. or especially here in Philadelphia. And you're now you lost one game, and now you're losing by 15 here at home in Game 4, as both missed free throws there by Tobias Harris. There's really it's gonna be tough for the Philadelphia 76ers to come back in this, but they're gonna need a huge run out of Joel Embiid. As here comes Marcus Smart with a floater, no good.
And this has been a player who's only had a good game two, along with Josh Richardson. Besides game two, Tobias Harris has had an awful series, but he makes the layup there. He had a horrendous game one, a pretty bad game three, and today he's not looking too good after those two missed free throws. And he's missed a lot of points in the paint. And Josh Richardson just not getting his shots in game four.
Tatum misses yet again, and Jason Tatum here tonight has really been uh, missing for Boston. They could have extended this lead even more if Tatum would get his shots going in. And obviously, you see there, Wanamaker picks up the foul. And the Sixers, Ben Simmons will be going to the line.
We're going to see Simmons try and hit both free throws here to cut this to 11-point deficit. He hits the first. Oh, and Brett Wanamaker, great pass over to Kemba Walker, and he scores in the paint. This is a 14-point game. Oh, and it's blocked, but Joel Embiid's there for a dunk.
Oh, Kemba step back three, no good. And really here in this fourth quarter, Boston struggled to put shots in the hoop, but Philly has not really been able to cut on this lead very much. Oh, there's an offensive rebound. Embiid throws down a flush. 10-point lead. Halfway through this fourth quarter here in Game 4, timeout Boston. Brad Stevens wants a timeout after the Embiid flush. Quiet down the 76er crowd. Can the 76ers make another run, cut into this lead, and try and steal Game 4 here at home and win the series?
You know, we've seen a lot of late game pushes out of teams, and Brett Brown's liking what he's seeing out of Joel Embiid on the offensive glass. He's keeping them alive in the fourth quarter, but there can't be any more defensive faults in this fourth quarter, as the third quarter really ruined any chance of staying close in this game. But now it's going to require a 76ers huge run, and Hayward misses to start, though.
In less than 3 minutes left here now in this Game 4, can Philly put together a string of offensive
Here comes
buckets and
Embiid. He gets the
Embiid
foul.
again. He fouled by Tice.
He's
Looking
really
to cut
taking
this back
over
to
this
single
fourth
digits.
quarter. Oh, and he misses the second.
Embiid
It'll be
misses
a
the
9-point
second.
game. Wide
Oh,
open
up ahead,
three,
open.
Kemba Walker. Ooh,
No
misses it.
good. And a quick shot there by Boston, too. Saves a lot of clock for the 76ers.
But I think if you're the Celtics, you take that chance of. That's one of your stars out there taking a wide open three. I know he struggled, but he came out in the clutch in game three. You're not going to hold back on that shot.
And I agree with you there. As you saw, Embiid turned it over. And Kemba Walker shoots
And he
again,
hits that
and that
one.
one's good
Wow.
at deep, too.
And if you look at that, 0 turnovers by Boston Celtics, big game. What do you think about that?
Well, obviously, Brad Stevens has to just be having a huge smile on his face. Talk about perfecting the offense.
Oh, but it's an
Embiid
and one
fouled
for
there, and
Embiid.
one. you give up 0 turnovers to the Philadelphia 76ers, who have really eaten them alive. Think about it. Game one, Joel Embiid had 8 blocks. They blocked a bunch of shots. They had a whole bunch of turnovers in those games. And so a very great performance so far offensively out of Boston. But still time left here. We'll see if they can continue to have their perfect run of no turnovers. Oh, step
Oh, but
back.
Daniel
Kemba
Tice
no
is
good.
there.
Tice
He
rebound.
can't hit the layup, but he gets it
Oh, can't
again.
finish. Oh,
Oh,
another
Kemba for
offensive rebound. Out to
three.
Kemba again.
It's
Another, that's a quick three.
good.
Oh, but Kemba hits on the offensive board there. Tight, back-to-back boards, back out to Kemba, who knocks it down. A big three there. Back to 11. A minute 25 here left in this fourth quarter of game four. Embiid can't finish. Tice another rebound. How about this? Daniel Tice taking over the boards here late in game four.
Yeah, those two offensive rebounds really, I think, just determine the game. After he gets it out to Kemba Walker for another 3-0, but it's blocked from behind by Simmons. They're going to have to work fast here. Simmons driving in. Can't make it. And the Celtics are going to take this one very slowly, as it seems like they are going to have a game 5 in Boston, up 11 right now, 40 seconds left. And big game, if you're the 76ers, how do you come back from this loss? You're going to go back on the road, and in this series, they're going to have to go 3-0 on the road in order to win it. Do you think that's possible?
Well, obviously, it's possible. You've seen just how well the 76ers have played in TD Garden there in Boston. But obviously, momentum is all but lost here as the Celtics have won both the games on your home court. Now going back with the series tied 2-2, going back to Boston. And if you're Brett Brown, how to figure out how to beat these guys, you need Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid to really step up, as they both really didn't play great here tonight. Embiid really didn't play well in game three. But something that I'd like to point out is obviously Tobias Harris struggled again here tonight. He put in the points, but did not shoot well. They're going to need an excellent game like they got in game two out of Tobias Harris if they want to win game five and win this series here in round one.
And we're going to have our post-game shows. We take a look at our box scores. That's our final from Philadelphia, 54-43 as the road team dominating this series. And Joel Embiid, 16 points, 13 rebounds. He dominated that fourth quarter, and I think without that fourth quarter, his stats might have been lackluster. And Tobias Harris somehow shoots 4 for 10 in a game where it didn't really seem he's shooting that best, but he held it together in the third quarter on that huge Celtics run, as he was really the only offense for them. And this is the game we can't have. Ben Simmons, 2 for 10. Known as someone with a high field goal percentage at the point guard position, when he got blocked on that reverse jam, it just seemed like all of his momentum shooting-wise was gone. Anything else on the 76ers side, big game?
Well, obviously, Joel Embiid actually had a pretty decent game, but what a quiet game for Joel Embiid. Like, that's a quiet, pretty big game that he had. Um, Obviously shows you just how this game went for Philadelphia. And obviously, Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons combined shoot 6 of 20. Cannot happen out of those two guys. As Tobias Harris is your third go-to guy, and Ben Simmons is a star. Just did not work out here for the 76ers here in game four. And now they're heading back to game five in Boston with this series tied 2-2 after blowing both games on their home court.
And we go over the Celtics side. Not not a Kemba Walker above average game, but 5 for 12 is his best performance in this series by far, and the 13 points especially. Jaylen Brown, though, continues to show up. 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. And Gordon Hayward, a nice game after game 3 as well. And Brad Wanamaker, as you talked about all game, the wild factor for them. Anything else on the Celtics side, big game?
Well, obviously, Jaylen Brown with another great game. He really stepped up there in game three, stepped up again in game four. Jason Tatum struggled again. We have really not seen him shine bright like Embiid or Simmons did in their game one and game two performances. Tatum has really not shined so far in a winning performance in this series. So maybe you'll see some potential shine out of him in game five. And Boston, you won both games on the road. You came back huge. Kemba Walker played a lot better here tonight. And we'll see if they can go home and win game five.
And that's going to do it from Philadelphia, as we will see yet another game 5. Both these game 5s will be either Tuesday or Wednesday as we see the Celtics and the 76ers play in Boston once again, as well as the Nuggets and Rockets play in Denver once again for both game fives. Your final from Philadelphia, 54-43 in game four. Celtics take this one. Have a good night, and thanks for coming.